What's up, y'all? Before I head to the gym, I just want to say this real quick that perception is so powerful. And with perception, I would have to say its its counterpartner is deception. So you have perception, and in opposition to that, you have deception, and which will be uh, calculated how or determined by how or what. Now, commonly, we see things out here in the streets, no matter where you are. Uh, it could be art, it could be an act, a suggestive act. Hence, what we see on the Instagram reels and the Facebook reels, and advertisement board, and what people may be saying to you. We are indeed social beings, and I'm getting this thing down. I mean, I'm trying to get it down packed as much as I can with keeping a clean heart and continuing to have good intentions, but trying to put forth some work. And I think that's the most challenging part to me because of my uh, somewhat stubbornness, and I am intolerant. To have grown such a way to have become intolerant because I see what's really plaguing out here due to the particular demographic to which I am in. And it's like, well, I've come to conceive that I could be hopeful all I want. I can have a good perception along with good intentions. But the fact remains, and it is what it is. So there are a lot of people that's really oblivious to what's taking part, which is why I guess they say ignorance is bliss. You know that old school saying, "What you don't know may not won't hurt you." To a degree, that is quite true. There may be times, of course, where you may have seen a post where it says, "The more that you know, the more crazier you look," and you may be perceived as being crazy for the more that you know. And I don't think we take. We may hear these things, but don't know how to reference it and apply it to. We don't apply it or reference it to what can possibly be. Let's say, how could I put this? I guess simply put, we don't know how to reference it to what we're dealing with within humanity. Here are societal issues, humanitarian issues, and even when we look into, I guess, past judgment, or we're trying to kind of like assess another person's being, because as true as it may sound, that the more you know, the more that person may be perceived as being crazy and this, that, and the third, is because a lot of people don't understand frequency, and there's a lot of things that will have to be unfold, that will have to, it should unfold, and will unfold the more that you learn, which will now separate you from certain people, areas. Why? Because the frequency changed. You don't see people of royalty that live in Brooklyn, New York. With all due respect, this is not to say that we are next to nothing or we're just trash. No. But in saying so, we know we have much to aspire to, but it's reality. Frequency, energy, intelligence, knowledge. You don't see people of high grade living here like that. And let's say numbers don't lie. So for those of you that may have friends or affiliates in high societies, you know they carry a particular code of conduct. The mannerisms are quite different from yours. Why? Do anybody ask? See, I think that's where we fail. We don't know how to be uh, reasonably or rationally questionable, meaning inquisitive. And why? And I think that's due to the fact that so many things that's what's going on in the hood carries a negative connotation. Fear factors. Always a conspiracy or something. Always being skeptical. Always be. I mean, this I tell y'all. Tell y'all. But for the record, I've come to understand and understand the plight of man, no matter what color the man is, and I'm happy. It came at a price, of course, because of what we continue to endure, and that's a whole nother subject in itself. Because it's like for all we go through, what is it that's being produced, and what is it conducive to? What's coming from all these losses incurred? But I've come to have a different level of awareness, knowledge, and respect for all men of a particular pedigree and nature in which I have within me. I know that I can see within them, no matter what color you are. Now, in me saying so doesn't mean I have to greet every guy that I see out there or every brother. Just, sure, I don't hate nobody. I said it millions of times. I don't hate nobody. I hate the human condition. But by greeting someone could surely, possibly, uh, you know, I guess add some things into the atmosphere and whatnot. So, I, uh, I've come to have, yeah, a different level of respect, and because like my last video or most recent video I put on my YouTube, where I said the title of the video is "What Were," no, I said we were fighting it before them, and that's the spiritual warfare, the spiritual battle. Because a lot of us like to talk about white folks, this, that, and the third, when then we turn around and say, all life came from us, and the first bone that was ever found was in East Africa. And it's like, okay, well, where are we taking accountability for our faults? And not just, not only our faults, but what about their inception? Because they are of a genetic recession. We are dominants with being melanated. So how do we draw things out on the table, and not to be bickering, and not to be trying to point fingers and, you know, every man is accountable for their actions, right? So I say, we were fighting something before they were birthed. And so I say, yes, many things has happened through slavery and colonialism, and now we, of course, some people may say we have neo-colonialism, post-colonialism. However we try to fashion it, we ought to be factual. Because yes, it is what it is, but we got to be factual and thorough and know how to appoint certain things, categorize, and put it into perspective. Keyword of this video. So when I see any anyone who is non-African, good hygiene and clean aura, I say, well, if cleanliness is the closest thing to godliness, in which I certainly believe to be true, and I know there's dualistic natures in life, how long are we going to keep talking about? Keep in mind of what I'm sharing here. How long are we going to keep saying that? Oh, these people are devils and that thing, and they came from us, and we still got life, and we got a chance to turn things around and knowing how to put things into perspective and rationalize. Like, well, how can such cleanliness be equated with devilish uh, tendencies or proclivities, and how can that person be of such a nature? Now, there are a lot of complexities to this life, and I think before we try to focus on another group, I believe that by us focusing on who we are, according to that paternal line, which is why tribalism, getting back there, is going to be very, uh, it is important, and it's going to be far more effective to where we got to go in the future. Tribalism, and sticking to the bloodline of the father. Yeah, trust me. So we should focus more on taking care of home first, because I believe uh, all the wonderful things that will come about with the establishments of X, Y, and Z, whatever it is that needs to be uh, enriched, whatever needs to be uh, achieved and established for the betterment of posterity, and for the, of course, new covenants that will come into play. I believe that taking care of home first, everything will be exemplified through that family by way of the father, the brother, the uncle, the, you get what I'm saying? Everything will be exemplified, as to where some things may hit newspapers, some things may hit social media outlets, some things may word of mouth and neighborhood talk and gossips, and whoever has an ear, let them hear. Whoever have eyes to see, let them see, where they can, just like how the good book, the Bible talks about being provoked into emulation, that some souls may be saved. So I get what some people told me and shared with me by, saying, yo, focus on yourself. As much as they know I have such a concern for humanity, but it's like, yo, you just can't save everybody, and everybody's not going to get it like that. And it's surely true. It's surely true. There really are some things going on out here that's, I tell you, it's crazy. About an hour ago, I got off the C train at Kingston and Throop. And as I'm going up the stairs, picked up my bag here, my trolley, and as I'm getting up there, homeboy just happened, this slum looking dude, skinny slum dude, he just happened to shift over. With all this space, nobody's in front of him. He's going up, I'm behind him about 2 stairs, keeping a steady pace. As soon as I'm looking to get up, why do he shift over right in front of me? And then he moved right out the way, like on some slow motion type of behavior. And as we got up to the floor level, because he kind of looked back over his shoulder, and I said, hey, you good? And I didn't say it with no tone like, yo, you trying to get it on? That's not me. I said, you good? And he ain't saying nothing, but I felt the tension come from him. It got eerie. For those who know how to gauge energy and know how to pick up on things, we got it like that. And that's all part of the test of becoming masterful. So as we got to the top now, we got out. I looked at him. I was like, you felt the energy, right? And I said it with like a little bit of a laughing tone. He's like, yo, what you talking about, man? Yo, why you trying to push me? And as he looked at me, one of his eyes got big and one was like squint. And that's how I knew the bug is in him. Do y'all hear me? I've been seeing that for quite a while on a lot of people. Women, men, male, female, it don't matter. Once that shit attached to you, when it got you like that, there's things you could do to get that up off of you. Praying and fasting and eating, getting that lemon water, good fresh coconut water, and regular water is good. But it's like, yo, it is what it is, man. Now, I don't want to go past 15 minutes, but yo, it's real out here, y'all. And we got more work to do. Thank you so much for tuning on in. Peace, love, and light. Leo Wazir, Bridge.